So here we are. Thank you all for being here as filmmakers. Thank you for doing what you're doing and continuing to make stuff, which is one of the most difficult things one can do. So for my left, I believe from stage right onward, and Jess, I apologize if I butcher your last name or any name here. I've already done it in the company of you fine people. But to my left, we have Jessica Barnthouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, all right,
Got
good.
it.
1 for 1.
Clean slice.
Yeah. And we have, now I'm going to get it.
You can do it.
Nuria
Yes.
Pellicer.
Pellicer.
Thank you very much. And we have Nicolas Thilo-McGovern.
That's right.
All right, cool. And Jasper Hamilton.
Yes.
Which I never thought Jasper would be the easiest name for me to get in it on a panel. Or Jasper, well, I mean, I guess. But so thank you, once again, thank you all for coming here. Thank you, Arlington Public Access, for having myself moderate and all you here. So I believe I'm just going to leave it to you guys. I'm going to, Jess, if you would take away who you are, what you're presenting.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. I believe then we'll show some clips, I believe.
All right, cool. I'm Jess. I started in cable access as well. I was at this station for a while, right before I left a few years ago to run my production company full time.
Oh.
So that's been really cool. And I studied English in college, so I didn't study video production at all. Very useful degree. But I think it helped me learn how to tell stories, hopefully. But when I was 26, I had just finished riding my bike across the country for a year, and then immediately broke up with the person that I did that trip with, and then started this documentary project with my friend Stacy. And now we are married to different people and have kids with different people. And yeah, it's just crazy because that was 6 years ago now. And it took a long time to get to where we are with it. And yeah, I don't know if you want to show the clip first and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, do you want to just give us a quick introduction of
Okay.
what it is? And then we'll
Yeah, it follows this guy named Kip Weeks, who was the main masked villain in this horror movie called The Strangers that came out in 2008, starring Liv Tyler. And now the main bad guy in that movie lives in Maine and runs an all-natural children's toy company out of his house with his wife and 3 kids. But he wants to get back into horror acting. So we followed him over several years, watching, basically, it's like a profile of his life.
All right, so we'll stick what we have right here. So with the Man in the Mask, so you said it took 6 years to do, and kind of
We saw his kids grow up.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. Well, and part of the thing is, having been part of a documentary myself, I realize, here's the question I'll throw at you. When do you become kind of not the friend, or you're trying to be the fly on the wall, but then you kind of can't, it's almost impossible to pull that off. What, can you explain your relationship?
It was easier for me than it was for my co-director, Stacy, because she was actually friends with him. They met when she's a few years older than me. They met when she was in college. They both were working at a bar in Wilmington, North Carolina, and they were both working on the set of Dawson's Creek.
As you do, yeah.
Yeah, she was a makeup production assistant, and he was trying to get any kind of extra roles he could get. So she knew him and his wife. They were married at that time too. And they were just friends. So I feel it was easier for me because I didn't know him, and the first day we filmed him, I hadn't even seen The Strangers yet. And then I went home and watched it, and I still screamed when he does the reveal and they pull back the curtain.
Yeah. That must have been doubly crazy because you knew who he was.
Yeah.
And you interacted with him as a human being.
Yeah.
And then you saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it helped that I didn't really know what I was doing when I started filming either. I showed I had just started working here, so I didn't know a whole lot about video production. I had just bought a T3i, a Canon T3i, and was oh my god, this is so cool, and totally jacked up, the white balance is totally messed up, exposure is messed up, I barely knew how to pull focus. I didn't have Magic Lantern installed on it or anything. And so you can see in the interview our gear is in the background and the first interview shots, and so it's just I think that the blind confidence of being so new at something, it just made it easy to just be oh, I'm just gonna film everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna get whatever I can. I don't care. No, you're right, but you touched on it, blind confidence. you kind of need that to kind of stupidly go forward.
Yeah.
Not something that if you really thought about it too much would mire you down.
Yeah,
And just,
exactly.
yeah. Cool. Well, all right, and we'll definitely get back to Liz. But I want to move along and get back. Are we going to show the whole film or the clip
We're
for
going to
Nicolas?
show
And
the first 6 minutes, 20 seconds.
all right, so
It's
please
very
introduce.
specific, I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, if you please introduce yourselves and your project.
ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
okay, fine. My name is Nicolas. I was the writer-director of Speak to Me, the film we're going to see, we're going to see the first bit of, I guess. I also actually came up through public access TV over in Cambridge, and then went on to Emerson and have just sort of been making it work from there, and I'm going to graduate, hopefully, as long as I don't fail any classes, in May. So that's sort of the next big cliff to jump off of.
Oh, that's quite a clip.
I'm Nuria. I worked on Speak to Me. I was the editor and one of the producers for the film. Yeah, I'm also a senior at Emerson. And yeah, I started when I went to Emerson, I grew up in the Middle East, so I didn't really have a lot of kind of like community film, TV related things there.
Oh, fair enough. We'll get into that, more about this and both of you as filmmakers right after the clip.
The promotion includes a week's vacation, a parking spot, my own office. Doesn't have a great view, but at least it's an office. Jenna's still in her shitty cubicle. Sam, this is one of the best promotions of my life, and on top of that,
I spoke with my publisher today.
How'd it go?
Okay. I don't know.
That doesn't sound good.
My chapter got rejected. They said it wasn't authentic enough.
I'm sorry, babe. I know you can do it. They know you can write a bestseller. Just keep working, and eventually you'll be on book tour, signing autographs. Who knows? Maybe a studio will pick up the rights or something.
That was a long time ago. Worst case scenario, I did a one-hit wonder, and that one hit's a fluke.
You know that's not true. Just give it some time and keep trying. Besides, one hit is better than no hit at all.
I know, babe. How's your job?
It's good. I start tomorrow.
Proud of you.
Thanks. Sam, come cuddle. It's really late.
Alright. I just had to type out a few ideas.
It's okay.
Hello, is your name Samuel Johnson?
Yeah, can I help you?
I was wondering if you would be interested in purchasing one of these beautiful Bibles today. They come with a special.
I'm an atheist. I don't need a Bible. All right. Do you need anything else? I get a deadline. My publisher's going to kill me.
Well, I wouldn't want to keep you from that. Might I ask what kind of writing you do?
I'm a horror writer, or call me crazy.
That was you? That was the bestseller.
Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Oh no, I never read it. Only saw it on the shelf of a few places. I actually had an idea for a story myself,
Yeah, well,
but never got around to putting it on paper.
a lot of people have ideas.
Well, I don't know if it's worth anything, but it's basically about a couple that was cleaning out of their grandmother's house. Found out she was part of a satanic cult. The house was haunted, and they almost died. But never had time to write it, though.
I mean, it sounds interesting enough.
Well, I would love to work on it with you if you have the time.
Yeah, I don't really. Like I said, I have a deadline.
How's that story going for you?
Do you want to come in? I don't usually do this, but I've been looking for a little inspiration. Maybe jot down a few ideas. I mean, if you have time, we can write it out.
Yeah, sure. Why not? There's no time like the present.
Hey, come on in.
Thanks. Where's your kill box?
Right there. Wait. You didn't see anyone leave, did you?
No, I just got here.
No, there's a man here with a black suit and a Bible.
Nah, sorry, buddy.
So that was the first day after promotion.
It was good. A lot of work, though.
Sure. I hope Jen wasn't too jealous.
No, she was, but that's just Jen.
Did you do something?
Tell you in a minute. I gotta pee. Watch this stuff. Hey, how's it look?
Delicious.
Here, put it away. I found one of your pillows on the floor.
Thanks. You can throw it out though, it's dirty.
Fine. You know your prescription isn't due for a couple more days.
I know, I just don't want to spin it on the bathroom floor.
I understand. I just want to make sure you are taking them. You know how bad withdrawals from Zyprexa can be.
I know, I promise.
I trust you. I just worry about you sometimes.
I know, I'm gonna get a refill soon anyways.
Okay. Hey, Ben?
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you too.
Soup's probably done. Hello?
Hello, this is an automated call for my Samuel Johnson. The prescription contact, and he is currently 7 days
Don't forget, Katie's coming over tomorrow. She just got back from her trip, and I promised her we'd go get a drink when she got back.
Is her weird husband going?
Jim? No, I think it's just a girls' night.
I'll see if Dave wants to do anything then.
Okay, great. Hey, Sam.
Yeah.
Why haven't you filled your prescription? I got a call from the pharmacy today. They said you're over a week late.
I've been busy. I'll do it tomorrow.
Don't bother. I already picked them up after work. They're in the medicine cabinet.
Thank you.
But you have to take them. I can't hold you down and force them down your mouth.
Look.
I love you so much, but I know how hard it is on us whenever you don't take them.
I know. I've been under a lot of stress. The publisher's up my ass about the new section of this book.
I was just doing you a favor, Sam.
Oh, and you did. Thank you. Now you can hold it over my head like you're better than me.
Why are you so upset about this? I won't pick up your pills next time.
I just want to focus on my writing. I have a busy day tomorrow. Thank you for ruining this.
Sam! Come back! Come and speak to me about this. Sam, I'm home! Didn't realize this meeting would last this long. Come in. Hey. You look great. How's the trip?
Absolutely amazing. You have to go sometime.
I don't know that we can take time off to go to China right now.
You have to go. Promise me you will. I felt like that girl from Eat, Pray, Love, but minus the praying part. So how's everything with you? What did I miss?
Some good, some bad.
Tell me. Good first.
No, wine first.
Ooh.
Red or white?
Yes, please. Red would be great. So, good news. Go.
Wow. I got the promotion.
I knew you would! Listen, I don't want to freak you out, but I've been talking to the psychic, and they told me that good things were going to start happening to me. First, my trip to China, and now this.
Yeah, assistant to the copy editor. It's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your luck is rubbing off on me.
Maybe. So tell me, how are things with Sam? Have you guys hammered down a date for the wedding?
Well, that's sort of the bad. Things have been pretty rough recently, and the wedding hasn't been our top priority.
Rough how?
Just we've been busy, and we had a couple of fights. I just feel like he doesn't value me as much as he used to. I know the book has been really stressing him out, but we haven't had sex in like weeks. I just feel like he doesn't want to make time for me anymore.
He's probably just missing that attention that he used to get back on the road. Go out, buy some lingerie, and surprise him. Make him feel special again.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Mia, you and I both know that I'm right.
Thanks. So tell me about your trip.
Amazing.
The promotion includes an extra week's vacation. Why haven't you filled your prescription? Sam, come in here, babe. Come to bed with me?
I don't need any distractions right now, okay? I need to work. I need to write. I'm finally making some progress.
I'm not a fucking distraction, Sam. I'm your fiance.
I need to write more. You, of all people, should want me back in that bestseller list.
I do. I also want the man I fell in love with.
Yeah, not tonight. I don't think Mia even wants me to succeed.
Why do you think that, Samuel?
She knows what this book means to me. She knows I have to finish it.
Yeah, so do I.
Exactly, but you're helping me. Last night she tried to stop me from working.
You was right to choose your book.
I know, I just wish she saw it that way.
All I know, if that was me, I wouldn't take one doubting my ability, especially when I know I'm the best.
So, how's your writing coming?
Good.
Good. Jen quit today.
Wow.
She said she could get a better job elsewhere. She was upset about not getting the promotion, I guess.
Can we not talk about your job and your fucking promotion for once?
Ooh, why are you so upset? Did something happen today?
I'm just so fucking sick of hearing about how great it is to be you. All night long I hear about how Jen did this and you did that. Then you get the parking space, the extra vacation. Does it come with a designated ass wiper too? All day long I slave over my book and you come home and it's this shit.
I know you're working hard. You're doing what you love. It's great. I just thought you might be interested in how my life is going because you care about me.
I do. I don't want to talk about it all the time.
Oh, that's the thing, Sam. You want me to do well, just as long as you're doing better. When you traveled the country, I took off work to come and support you. I did that because I loved you. Now that I'm the one who's successful, you don't give a shit because it isn't all about you. You're fucking crazy.
Your aunt Ellen promoted you because you're a woman, right? They need women in management. It's a PR thing.
Fuck you, Sam. You have no understanding of what I do, how hard I have to work, how much harder than every other guy in that office. You're a fucking asshole. Yeah? What's in your head now? Fill my prescription, my ass.
Because they said it wasn't authentic enough.
You was right to choose your book.
Fucking crazy.
How's that story going for you? Samuel, would you like to keep writing?
All right. So I'm going to, let's go a little bit into that. Like, that was a student project?
Yeah, so that, I actually started writing that for a class, and it was, the assignment was write a 8 to 10 page script. And it was 9 pages and just sort of left it at that. But I really liked it. So after the class, I kept working on it. I pitched it to Emerson Independent Videos, ended up producing it. They're an on-campus production company at Emerson, and they provide all the same stuff that a production company would supply for students. So I pitched it to them, and they said no.
I did not see that story ending up like this.
No, they did. They really didn't think it was very good at first. But they said, well, we'll give you 6 months. We'll put you in our development program, and then come back to us if it's any better. And they didn't quite say that. That was
with their eyes.
That's how it felt.
Yeah,
but you know, then so that's what I did, and I met with people every week for about an hour, and we worked on it, and then pitched it again, and they said, yeah, this is a lot better. No, they actually said this is really good. So they gave us the first chunk of the money, which started the process. That was when we sort of knew we can do it. You know, we can do it for the bare minimum. And then we crowdfunded the rest, and it ended up being still pretty low budget, but we crowdfunded another $2,000 or so, and that was that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get back to this in a moment. First, I want to move on to Jasper Hamilton. Jasper, you too have a background in public access. In fact, this very building.
That's right. Yeah, I spent all of high school here. Hey, what's up? And it's pretty cool because I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, but
Nice.
No, all my technical background, everything it's from ACMi pretty much, and you know it helped me out a ton in film school, and just with my own projects and stuff.
And you go to Emerson as well.
I do, yes. Yeah.
And you're a senior too?
Yes.
Now have you, three of you crossed paths at all, or is this the first time?
We were trying to figure that out, actually.
I thought that
okay.
we did, and we haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She thinks she knows me. I'm pretty sure I've seen his face.
Yes, we've definitely
We've
crossed
met.
paths, yeah.
Is this a
I don't know.
whodunit within this?
There's a lot of white guys with beards.
Right, that's
that's
pretty
the thing
much
you'll
it.
find.
Yes.
That's
So we blend together, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's okay, it happens.
Yeah, I actually didn't know who was who for a second.
Yeah, no, we all
And,
look the same, it's fine.
well,
I'm Nick.
yeah, right. But you have a piece too you want to show tonight.
So the film is Cody's house. It's funny. I have a similar story, kind of yours. It's funny, but we can talk about that after we see the clip. It's a feature-length film. What you're going to see is the midpoint of the movie. It's about a group of high school kids, and as a rite of passage, they have to go up to this house that's on top of a mountain, spend the night, and commit a crime. And then they can move on with their lives and so on. So middle of the film, they get to the house, and that's what the scene is here. There's a title card that says The House. There's title cards throughout the movie, so that's what that is.
All right, cool. Let's go to the clip.
Locked. Bullshit.
Nothing's gonna happen, Frank.
Why don't you try it?
Just open the fucking door, Frank.
I told you, the door is locked. Gonna go see if there's another way in.
No windows open.
A door was closed.
All right, great. So, what was the story that you want to tell behind that?
Oh yeah, so the whole movie I wanted to make last year, right? Kind of starting in the fall, and I went to Emerson's program that they have. They have a few of them, but I went to the BFA program where you can spend a year making the movie, and they said no features, and I said, do you want to look at it? Like I did all this. I did all the prep work. I knew how it would be filmed. Like it wasn't just a screenplay. It was a whole package deal of stuff. No features, because Emerson has festivals that they like to show, films at, and you can't, I don't care if it's an Emerson Film Festival, don't care. So I got Emerson actors though, and it was just, that's the story. That was, Emerson said no. Mine didn't have a happy ending. But it ended up just we had 2 producers at Emerson, and they quit because they said, this is impossible, you can't make this movie. And we had a cinematographer quit. Everybody quit. The whole crew was gone by the time we started filming this. So it was me with the camera, my little brother, he's 15, he had the boom pole, and that was the crew. And then, there's the 4 actors. And the whole thing, cost us $2,000, pretty much, because it was kind of like my own money plus a t-shirt campaign thing that we did. We had 3 days to film all the house stuff, which was intense, because that was, half of the film in 3 days is we were going from 7 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning.
How many pages
was the script?
Yeah.
Or,
how long was the piece in general?
Oh, an hour and 42 minutes.
Oh, so that's a significant amount of time
Yeah,
in
so
that house.
it was a big chunk of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
crazy. Did they tell you outright no features, or
yeah,
did you
that
just
was
get there?
where the conversation ended.
But even beforehand, when you apply, are they like, oh, we won't accept features, or is that just kind of?
They said submit your thing.
Can you attest to this sort of thing, or have you been?
We're both in the BFA program, and we kind of got around that by not submitting a script and just submitting a treatment.
Oh, so viewer beware.
That's right.
But
I feel you about that.
our BFA project only ended up being 12 pages, so they were fine with it.
But it started at 60, so it doesn't. It's sort of, that's another story.
Yeah,
we can. When I come back, we'll show the next one. We'll talk about it.
Oh wow. Well, that seems like in the academic world, as to the kind of, I was about to say practical world, but maybe that's me showing my my prejudice there. That you'll have, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you have those challenges of trying to shape things down from your grandiose ideas. Like we were talking earlier about how you just kind of went into it, filming this thing, and then you're just like, okay, let's scale it back. And with funding and crowdfunding, I actually want to get to all of you and ask about crowdfunding and how it played a part, because it seems like there's a common thread there. But start with you. And do you mind if I call you Jess as opposed to Jessie?
Yeah,
all right,
calls
sorry.
me Jess.
All right, fair enough. So, did you get involved with crowdfunding, and what was one of the biggest obstacles you found? And were there other people above you and your co-director Stacy who were not pulling the strings, but had an investment in it? They were giving stuff to you and try to dictate what to do?
We did end up crowdfunding on Kickstarter $10,000 for the project, but at the time we were pitching it as it was going to be a documentary about New England horror and the influence that New England has had on the horror movie genre. And we filmed interviews with Brad Anderson, who did The Machinist, and we did we were in talks with Adam Green and all this kind of stuff, but then turned into oh my god, this is a PhD dissertation, and Kip was going to be a part talking head in this thing. But the more we got into it, the more I started pushing for let's just make it about Kip, because that's more the kind of movie I like to watch. I'm not as into talking head informational documentaries. I'm more into here is a profile of this guy's life. And I remember at Buff a few years ago saying my name is Jonah.
Oh.
I didn't see the movie because I for whatever reason I couldn't make it, but like I saw it in the program, and that was like the one movie that
That's
like
a
I
good
really
save, by
wanted
the
to
way.
try to get to.
Yes.
But I feel like maybe My Name is Jonah was more about like this guy's life and not as much like an informational talking head.
It had a good amount of talking head.
I
but
mean,
it was,
like
it
every
was a
documentary does.
But it was a portrait, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a profile of his life. So
Yeah.
but we ran into that same kind of issue.
Yeah.
Of whether, and I'm sure once you get a documentary or whatever, don't want to get too expositional.
Yeah.
And you want to show it because it's a film.
Yeah, and so like we were just like, so the more we got into it, the more we were like, oh, let's just follow this one guy. But then we have like this whole Kickstarter campaign that we raised $10,000 for, and like we still like have like these cool interviews with like these people from like this genre. So like we cut together a few shorts and like kind of made it like a short piece that we premiered at Buff last year, and then showed a 40-minute like rough cut of The Man in the Mask, just to kind of get some like audience reactions and kind of gauge. And now The Man in the Mask is like an hour and like 16 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So like we're ready for like we're applying for film festivals now. We're gonna do a festival run this year. Yeah, like going back to what you're saying, we did have like a major funder for the Kickstarter who like contributed like $5,000.
Oh wow.
But like he was really chill. Like he just wanted to like, I think he thought that it would be like his way into like like he wanted to like get into filmmaking. I think he thought like, oh, like cool, this is like a way, and like
sucker.
But like no. But like it definitely did get him into like horror circles, and like because he was into horror films, and like he's made a few short films since then, which is really cool. Yeah.
So you guys really did give him that kind of.
I guess so. I wish we had
springboard.
mentored him more. I guess it's not too late, but.
No, he's gone. Let's forget.
But I don't know. So like but we were honest with the Kickstarter people the whole time about like now we're taking it in this different direction, and like a lot of them came out to the Buff screening that we had last year, and like we got a lot of really positive feedback. The one thing that surprised me the most about Kickstarter was you don't realize when you're raising all that money that like all of your prizes, you have to like think about like how much money are these like little prizes going to be, and then on top of that you also have to think about taxes because it's considered income.
Yeah.
So like when we took it all to like our accountant for the project, he was like, oh, looks like you guys made $10,000 extra this year.
It's
we were like, we
what?
did?
Yeah.
But we're a separate entity, right?
Yeah.
No, you didn't file like that.
Yeah.
No, that's a great kind of segue into what other like dealings with crowdfunding backers you guys might have had, and that is nuts. Like, how do you explain?
It definitely made us
someone?
never want to do a Kickstarter campaign ever again.
Well, that's what makes me so wary about it, because the very fact, like just creating or making a film or a piece, it almost constantly changes until you're smart enough to be like, all right, no, we gotta stop here.
Yeah.
Because you'll just continue. And,
especially for like that's really common for documentaries. I'm sure you know from making your own that like things like the subject changes as you go along, and it's like it's really hard, like especially when we're brand new filmmakers, to make promises of like we're gonna get Rob Zombie in this, and like we did get a hold of Rob Zombie, and he said no, like who are you guys?
Oh, we love your stuff. Yeah. You're from Bradford, Mass.
Yeah.
One of my around my hometown. But so all right. So going into Speak to Me, you raised a bit of money for that.
I did a lot of the fundraising for that.
Oh, okay.
I've done a lot of fundraising at Emerson actually for many people's
I can
films.
see the pain in the eye.
Yeah, I've raised probably close to I don't know, like 25 grand since my time at Emerson.
Oh wow,
for
that's amazing.
My projects and other people's projects. So yeah, definitely know my way around Kickstarter.
Was that how many other crowdfunding sites have you, or like?
We did our most recent project on GoFundMe actually for tax reasons, because
They're a lot more
I'm a
lax,
Canadian
right?
citizen, and so I don't have like a social security number or any of that, so I can't acquire any money. But because it's linked with PayPal, you can send it directly to your PayPal account, and then it counts as a gift and not as income.
That's pretty beautiful.
That's for everyone to remember.
Yeah,
seriously.
Here's a little tip, but it caps.
It's a great tip.
The gifts,
is it like 10,000 or something?
I think it's like 10 or 15 in caps.
That's still
we didn't.
It's still pretty good.
Yeah. We didn't raise $15,000, so we were all good. But
we didn't raise it. I get you.
If anyone's got 15 grand, I'll take it. It'll be great.
But yeah, you're so right about the Kickstarter, like all the little things that you don't think you have to pay for, and you're like, oh great, I have all this money, and then you're like, no, I need a T-shirt and postcards and this
And
that
shipping
and
costs.
shipping
Yeah.
and the tax that they take off of it and the fee and all that stuff, and then just the stress of if we don't make our goal, all this money goes away.
Well,
Also, just like begging your grandma for money.
Right.
and
No,
stuff.
absolutely. Absolutely.
No, but I know all of them are different as far as like percentage they take, and you have to hit. Like I know GoFundMe is different than Kickstarter.
GoFundMe is great
yeah.
because you don't
You
need
don't
to
have to
hit
hit-
anything.
yeah.
So you can kind of set your goal a lot higher, and then if you reach it, that's great, and if you don't reach it, then that's also fine.
And
But
they
the
pay you every day. That's the
Yeah.
big thing.
Oh, really?
So as soon
Yeah,
as you get a
so-
donation.
I didn't know that.
Right. So I mean, it was
That
it ended
changed,
up
I
being
guess.
my email because of the
Yeah.
social security
Yeah.
number reason. And even still, they say we're sending you $0. I'm like,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Exactly.
But you get it
Confidence
within
boosted.
24 hours of
Right.
the donation
Right.
like being submitted on the
Yeah.
website, which is really helpful as
No,
well.
that and you constantly have access to it, which can be great and dangerous at the same time.
Yeah.
Depending on
Right.
how great you
Right.
are with money as a
Right.
producer or a filmmaker.
That's why I work with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she holds the credit card.
Well, cool.
yeah.
Well, and moving on to Jasper, like how was your experience with raising the money?
Well, I mean, I didn't really get too much of a chance, so I tried a couple things, but I kind of just had to focus on, the ever-changing pre-production for the indie film kind of thing, like people quitting and, actors not wanting to do it anymore. And,
so you did everything, like people were quitting like while you're still raising money? Or
Yeah,
was it,
well, people were quitting right up until the end. People were quitting.
at least they were consistent.
People were
I
quitting
guess.
like up until I think, who was it? Yeah, the guy with the red baseball cap on. He was cast 3 days before we had to be at the house. Like we got the gear before we got that actor. Like
Wow.
because we had this one for a while, who actually was the replacement for one that quit already. Anyway.
Right.
I don't want to just talk about everyone that quit on my movie.
No,
it's
but that's
great. You should watch it.
No, but that's very important though.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of, because, you just want to make the movie. So you just keep, adapting your plan. And I mean, like, I tried Bonfire. Bonfire is, I don't know if you know it, it's a T-shirt thing. That's all they do, but it's like Kickstarter. So, you buy a T-shirt, fraction of it goes to your cause, and then they, pays for the shirt. So we did that, and we got, about $300-something, some silly, but hey, it's
Yeah,
money
everything helps.
that we don't
Yeah.
have. And then tried doing Kickstarter, but we didn't make the goal. So I just kind of filled in the blanks with money I had saved up. Really, that's just. Oh, I put some on a credit card too. That's a great filmmaking tip.
We all
put
do that.
all your gear on a Best Buy credit card that you can't pay off.
Well, no, but it's not. You raise a very good point, and once back to, I want to get to people quitting on, or
absolutely.
getting over the hump of things not falling your way,
Right.
not just financially, but crew-wise, equipment, or just bodies,
Yeah.
and actors, because everyone loves actors. But actors are gonna
Especially
hate me now.
filmmakers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Right.
But to raising money and putting up your own money, a lot of people, and we're told all the time as filmmakers and just general business people, it's not good business to put up your own money. And you're like, yeah, that's great, but when it's like 2 hours away from me getting nothing and getting something, I got to put some up. And I actually worked on a couple of films recently, both producing and just helping out, where the filmmaker's like, yeah, our strategy is this. We want to hit these marks, and I'm going to put up like $5,000 of my own money to make sure we hit that mark. And no one knows unless someone, broadcasts it. And the whole weird thing about, I don't know if this is true for what you all went through, but it's all the projection of you're doing well, and people
Right.
tend to spend more on a project that seems to be nearing completion, or which is kind of the damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing of filmmaking.
Well, I think that's a really good point. I mean, I think you have people, I've never not put up money for a project that I've worked on, all the way up until, this last one. So, you're constantly putting up a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, and you have to navigate that with your accounting. And sometimes, hopefully you're sort of doing it hoping you're going to pay yourself back with it. And that happens a lot too if you have a great line producer who can do all the math out ahead of time, okay, I need to hit, we need to hit $3,500. So that And you know, for example, in the film we just shot, you know, we went up to Rockport for a while. We took about, whatever it was, like 15 people up to Rockport on the commuter rail. Commuter rail is $10 a ticket because we went the very last day of the $10 weekend, which we knew. So we knew it was the last day of the $10 weekend, so we figured, okay, it's going to go way up after that, so let's just shoot it now. And we planned everything around that, but that was still $150 or so that, you know, I put up that now I'm waiting to get back. So it is that perception of doing well, and everyone has to feel like, especially the crew specifically, you know, they have to feel like it's all going well and this is the plan, and you know, we're not sinking and we're not, you know, strapping it together with duct tape. And investors and people who put money up don't want to put money up in something that's not going to be good. So
it's true. And it's all over the sound of using duct tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying it, yeah.
I do want to mention something I kind of forgot, because all the time, you know, blends together when you're working on a project. Like, I don't know, days don't really exist sometimes.
Right.
We shot all the house stuff in 3 days, but we waited like a month to shoot the rest of it. So what we were able to do is edit together. What I was able to do was edit together the footage and make a Kickstarter video with it. So that was kind of like a fun. Like I put like, you know, like Philip Glass music in it, and it sounded all like professional, you know. And we didn't make our goal, but we got some money. It looked interesting. It wasn't just like my face saying, "Hey, I made a movie." You know, I bet you guys would think it's cool if you saw it. You know, it was that, but then we showed a trailer. You know.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
It's
like shooting in different
for that perception and doing piecemeal. But I want to go to the top of the order here and talk about the other theme of getting over that obstacle of things not falling to plan, like be it with crew, gear, actors, or in this case, your subject, like you have to like cancellations or like, oh, we're here because you're based in Mass.
Yeah, we're based in Boston.
And the subject was in Maine, right?
Yeah, in Portland.
Yeah. So what were the trials and tribulations of just like, you know, with Jasper, his crew literally dying or leaving like flies?
I mean, I think it helped that like when we started filming, it was just me and my co-director Stacy.
Oh, okay.
And then the first day we filmed, we went up to Portland with our friend Andrea, who like worked at WGBH.
Yeah. Still does.
Yeah. She's just past 10 years there, I think.
Yeah, she just celebrated her 10th year anniversary.
And then my friend Kate, who was like in between AmeriCorps and trying to find a real job at the time, and we're like, here, we'll teach you how to hold a boom pole. This would be great. And, like hit record on the Zoom. And so like we all just went up together, ate at Taco Bell on the way. And like, I don't know, like it stayed like a small crew the entire time. Like even like Andrea was with us up until the end, basically. Like we filmed Kip after the Buff screening last year, and like that was where like a lot of like the end footage came from, where he's writing to like the Strangers 2 producers, like saying why the hell wasn't I cast in Strangers 2? And so it was like the three of us. Again, Kate has a real job now, so she could not go. And something totally not related to anything that we do.
No, I had a similar buddy of mine literally got fired for selling, you know, he was caught in a sting operation where he sold cigarettes to someone he didn't card at a CVS, just because, not because he's a bad person, but because this is what he told me, he might be a horrible person, but from what I've known him, he hasn't been. But he was just very busy, and he got fired for something. He's like, oh, I don't have a job. Like, can you be a PA?
Yeah, anyone can be a PA.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, I think it helped that it was just, documentaries can be smaller crews, and I think that helped us in this situation, because, like, they talk about a lot of personal stuff, like, to us, like, on camera. Like, they ended up getting divorced because he flew to Detroit to do, like, a super low-budget horror movie that still, even 5 years later, has never been released. And so, like, we're basically following, like, as their marriage falls apart, too. But it was also just like, you know, I was working here at the time for like pretty much the entire time that we were filming, except for like the last interviews. And like I had a flexible enough job here that like when he went to Detroit, I went to Detroit. When he went to a toy festival in New York City, I went to a toy festival in New York City. So like,
what was the toy festival for?
It's called Toy Fair.
Toy Fair, yeah.
Yeah, he was there repping
like
Eco Kid
Nika
stuff.
His
his toy company.
Okay, yeah. Huh. Weird. All right. Well, any other? Well, what was one of the crazier like barriers that? Besides, well, I mean, besides
I mean, he's
watching
hard to get a
someone
hold
married-
of. Like, he's like, you know, he's like,
Yeah.
he's got 3 kids. One of them has Down syndrome, so it's like his whole life is like insane having like 3 kids. Like, especially when we started filming, like I think they were all like under the age of like 8 at the time.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And so, and like, you know, the youngest was like a year and a half, I think, when we started. And now he's in 1st grade, so it's like, or he must have been younger than that, 'cause, yeah, it was 6 years ago. But and like, you know, on top of like running his own business, he's also trying to like try out for movie roles. He did finally get cast in something that's shooting here right now, Wonderland, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
New.
Is it a?
What's it? Mark
Mark
Wahlberg.
Wahlberg,
yeah.
So
And
he's
what's his name?
in Mark Wahlberg's movie right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
So
good for him.
he did finally
That's
get cast. It's like
Check's a check. Yeah.
yeah, we were like, we could go film him on set. We were like, but like, I think we're done. Like, we could just take care of this with like an end slide. Like, by the way, he's in a new movie now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
things, you know, you didn't get Strangers 2,
Sure.
but he got Mark Wahlberg.
Wow. And that's always the concession price, or that's always the second.
Yeah, it was
place.
like, it was just kind of like,
To
we
get Mark
couldn't, like,
Wahlberg.
we can't just like keep filming this guy forever.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So like, I don't know. I guess the hardest part was just like trying to work around like a guy's schedule who like is a father of 3 kids, like trying to run a business, like rocky relationship with his wife, and like trying to like get his movie career to relaunch as well.
Yeah, it's it's tough to turn that switch on and off. I imagine.
Yeah.
Like invading a life and then trying to pretend you're not a part of it, and then you're just like, well, see you later. See you next
Yeah.
week. Oh, geez. Sorry. Well, no, that's amazing. That's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
And moving down the line, so I remember you told us the story about kind of being rejected from one of the production companies there. Sorry to
Yeah.
phrase it like that.
It's
No,
funny
it's true.
because I now run that production.
Oh, really?
organization.
We actually both
Out of
worked for it.
spite, or were you working there at the time?
I was, yes.
That's right.
And then when
I
he was
actually
telling that
pitched to
story,
her.
And
just
I
for the
told
record.
him not to pitch it. So
That's right. So.
glad he listened. I would have saved him the heartbreak.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, but we did development after that, and that's not.
Yeah. Well, what other problems, both in this project and the one you just did, or anyone?
Honestly, we've been pretty lucky with our projects. We've kept crew as small as we kind of could for both, which was really helpful because we didn't. It was like the small amount of people that were there were actually very committed to the project itself, and so pretty much both times we've been. I mean, knock on wood.
Yeah, really.
We've been really fortunate with people and places and stuff like that.
No, that's.
But you do get, you know, I mean, you do get a lot of people who come and go. Like for this one, you know, it was a little easier because I had formed some friendships at Emerson and things like that, and it was a lot of calling on those people. But, you know, that group doesn't always stick around, and that was sort of the big moment going forward. Was I thought I was just going to call on those same people, and they were all going to come back and work because everyone said they had a great time and whatever. And how many came back? Like 2 or something of the 30 or some odd people that worked on it. So we had to build another crew, and that happens all the time. So, and I feel for you, by the way, with the people coming on and dropping and coming. And I think, you know, that also does happen a lot more than we talk about because, you know, even amongst like filmmakers, especially at Emerson, and I'm sure you can attest to this, you know, as much as you have to put forward an idea that you're being successful and you're doing a lot of work to anyone who's fundraising or who you're asking for money, you have to do that with peers too, because that keeps your sort of social net worth high, because you always want to be working on another project, you always want to be picking something up, and I don't want to work with someone who nobody's worked with and no one can vouch for. But if you're constantly working and, you know, and it's unhealthy, by the way, like it's a really unhealthy habit. But it's weird. It's weird like that.
I mean, the overturn or the turnover of people and crew, just kind of like, or just constantly trying to hitch to that wagon of other people.
Well, you have your network. You know, you have the people who you call on, and you know, I mean, for the film we just did, the DP who I worked with for this one and every project I'd worked with in college, graduated, so he was gone, or he moved to LA or something. So that was the end to him, and we didn't know what to do, and we shopped around and we looked for one person. And we had, we have the names that our go-to people. Some had already signed on to projects, some we just didn't really vibe with. And we actually met this freshman who was just coming into to college, like just moved in, stuff was still in boxes and everything. We actually met his mom, and his mom came into the office for the production for Emerson Independent Video. It was like, oh, what's this, blah, blah, blah. We talked for a while, and slowly we got to know her, and she said, oh, can I introduce you to my son? He's a cinematographer and he wants to do that and whatever. And we're like, yeah, we're doing a BFA project. It is, we'll see if we can fit him in, maybe as a camera assist, whatever.
Yeah, AC or
Saw his
something.
reel and he's amazing.
Oh.
And we sort of looked at each other and went, are we gonna actually do this? Because this is super unconventional, and this is someone no one can vouch for, no one can attest to, and someone with, by Emerson standards, really low, social capital, I guess. And we said, yeah, totally. And he was great, and he's still really great.
Great, that worked out.
Yeah, so sometimes you get lucky. I mean, when you have to work harder, I think the luck starts to come too, It's 5 days of bad news and then like a day of good news.
Well, I mean, you just keep, grinding away, and you figure out how to work a bit smarter and just with the better and bigger focus.
Yeah.
Depends what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
So, moving along to, I know Jasper told us your crew disintegrated.
Yeah.
But what other parts of that production did you have to, or other productions did you have to overcome to kind of get things going?
I mean, it's never really been as much of an issue of time before as it was for this project. It used to just be, because it started in high school, I'd make a movie every year. That was my thing. So I'd make like this weird, not a feature, not a short film, 40-minute thing every year. And then my senior year, I made a feature. And you can't watch it. It's really, I'd pay you like $20 if you made it through the whole thing. And then I made another one, my freshman year of college in the summer. And I was acting in it, and I'm like, it was all bad. We had like only 10 days to film it, but time was still like, it was like a character drama, two people. But this one was like an adventure, and and moving company, everyone always says moving company like, takes, at least an hour out of your schedule, always more. And it's because of the actors. And,
That's true. That's true, actually.
And we had to move company quite a lot because we filmed the rest of the movie in a town in upstate New York, where I actually was for the past 10 days writing this new feature, doing this coming winter. It was just like, there's a 1971 Thunderbird in the movie. It's my car, production value. Use your own car.
Yeah.
Buy a cool car, or whatever, filmmaker advice. So that was transportation, but we had everyone cram in the back when we do the dialogue scenes to save time as we were going to our next location, like things like that. Funny stuff, I don't know. But that was the biggest thing, was like we're running out of time all the time. It wasn't even the money. Like once we got the equipment, we didn't have to like pay for anything really, because most of the movies outside. That was something I found, and I'm using a lot with this new script is, if you're an independent filmmaker, make the set outdoors, because it's always lit, and you can have really big wide shots, and you can explore like the space, and it makes your movie feel really big, and helps you immerse your audience.
That's both great and horrible advice.
That's right.
In a lot of ways.
Not for sound. Don't do it for sound.
Right.
Outside,
we got a nice
great,
microphone. I planned ahead. I got a really fancy Sennheiser one. Nice. That was like half as tall as my brother who was holding it.
He
did
a good job with it.
We spent some money on sound in the end. I should talk about that too.
Well,
but he did do a good job.
It has that great Italian horror kind of bit to it. We were talking about it.
Right. There's a groovy place in Alston called Heart Punch Studios, and the guy's great there. He just finished doing like a PBS, Nova thing. I don't know. but he said he'd work on my movie for like really cheap. I think that's like the secret budget because the family member loaned me the money for it, of course, after the fact. That it was like $5,000, but he mastered the whole thing. No ADR stuff because we didn't have the time or the actors, but he did a great job. And what was weird is that he was the only guy that wrote back to me because I'm like writing to every sound production house because the sound was awful. First cut of the movie. Like, please help me. How much does it cost for you to mix this for me, please? And he was the only one that wrote back. And what was so weird is that he was 2 buildings away from where I was living in Alston that year, and that only that year that I was making that movie. It's kind of weird that he was just right next door. And I didn't know he was there at all. Like, I just had to go to the studio one day. I'm like, this is right down the street. That was weird. But he's a great guy. So if you need sound, Heart Punch Studios.
First. This forum is brought to you by.
Right.
Well, I want to try to. I don't know how much time we have left. Fine. All right. Hard. So I want to try to get this one last question to all of you, and I'll start with Jess. Like what? And this is it's open-ended. Take it how you will. But what do you consider yourself as a filmmaker? What do you consider that as to you? What does it mean to be a filmmaker?
I feel like so many of like how I make my money right now is all like commercial and corporate clients. So it's hard for me to be like, I'm a creative filmmaker when I'm making like advertisements for things.
But don't you feel that, that it takes a bit of creativity to work within those means as well, or those realms?
I guess so, but like then also like when I'm with a client, I just like remind myself I'm not paid to have an opinion on anything. So like,
sure.
Like they're not paying for me for my opinion on things. Like a lot of times they're paying me to like do the thing. So like I just try to do the thing and like be friendly and be nice and be professional and stuff. But and like whenever they find out that I'm working on a documentary, they're like, oh, that's weird.
Well, with all due respect, I think you're short selling yourself in the sense of your tool set beyond having an opinion outside of shooting something or going through the technical aspect. Everyone involved in filmmaking, that is your tool. You're the focal point. Like you're personifying that piece of, because you're shooting something. That's you. That's you doing all that.
I guess I'm thinking more for like my video editing clients.
Oh, okay. Well, even then, you're making decisions. You're making creative decisions.
Well, yeah, but they like give you scripts and stuff. Like it's not like
it's on the rails kind of thing.
Yeah, like there are a lot of times though where like when it's like documentary style like branded content, they'll just hand me like a pile of footage, and like then I am like kind of going through and like putting everything together, and it's like it's like a little mini documentary, but it's about like this corporate thing. I guess like I think once we start like we're gonna do our film festival run this year, I think I'll feel a lot more like a filmmaker then, because like we've gone to film festivals in the past and like I hate networking, like I hate talking to strangers, like I'm really shy, especially like because we were going to these film festivals and like our movie wasn't done, so like what do I have to talk about? And I'm like
hey, what's up?
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Like, what's up? So I don't know. So I guess we'll see how this year goes.
And then, all right. Well, and nothing as far as like, well, what is filmmaking? What does it mean to you as far as like doing it?
What do you mean?
I don't know. When you're making something, like what besides like a corporate thing, when you're doing this doc, I
guess it's just like storytelling, especially when it's documentary. Like you're like have like a pile of footage and you're just trying to like bring something out of it, and like it definitely taught us that like our next project that we do, even like I think we're only gonna do documentaries, but like we need to have a much more solid idea of like film this and then we film this and then we film this and like this is the movie. Like we're not just gonna go show up to somebody's house with like 2 T3 eyes and be like, all right, we're rolling for like the next like 14 hours.
I suggest you do that for every future thing you do. Just show up to everyone's house.
Yeah.
That's cool. Just sometimes you don't know where you are until maybe you get to that point, or after a film festival, you're like, oh, this is what it is. This is what part of that feeling is.
Yeah, and I like the challenge of like trying to make a documentary feel more like a narrative feature.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Some more projects brewing, so excited.
Nice. I'm sorry, I know these are.
I don't know. I'm going through. I don't know. I'm still a senior at Emerson, so I'm still kind of like figuring things out. Yeah. That's like when people ask you what you're doing after college.
No,
and you're
sure.
Just like,
but do you consider yourself a filmmaker?
I would say, yeah. I would say yes. I really enjoy taking other people's projects and making them better, if that makes
No,
sense.
no, no. I know, no. As a producer, as fellow producers, but I'm sure we all produce and make stuff. Like part of the job of a producer is to see what works.
And in post, and just there's always something. You can always find something from anything, so you can always figure out how to shape it. And I often think that taking the main creative person out of that editing room and kind of just like doing it yourself and having a fresh set of eyes really helps the process and the project kind of go along.
Agreed. I always forget you're a cutter, and
Yeah.
for those at home, an editor. So I apologize if I.
No.
It's very like, yeah, you know, what's a cutter? It's like, oh no, editing.
No, but no people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Nicolas.
Well, you brought up a good point about just leaving the editing space, because I think that distance, by the way, is really important. But I don't know, for me, like, definitely, yeah, I'd consider myself a filmmaker. But I'm not really necessarily sure what it means yet, you know? I mean, I think we have, like, everyone up here is sort of given this amazing privilege to make movies and make films and projects and anything. Because, you know, we are able to put a message out to hundreds or thousands of people that I would never be able to access myself. And that's kind of the beautiful thing about what filmmaking is, I think, is, you know, you're able to get a small group of people, and especially at this level for not a lot of money, and say something together. And I think that's a really powerful thing, and you know, you tell the story that you want to tell, and you know, have the message you want to have, and if you want to be a filmmaker because you want to make a lot of money, quit. Because you're not gonna really, not just because there isn't a lot of money in films and 90% of movies lose money, but you know, it's because you can't be money motivated. Otherwise, you're not going to put up your own money. You're not going to make necessarily smart decisions. And you know, you got to find whatever that deeper meaning is. And that's what you got to do.
Cool. Jasper?
I don't know, like, as I think about that a lot, because I've always wanted to be a filmmaker. Like, since I was like 11, I saw Psycho, and that was it. It's movies, man. And my favorite, like, Werner Herzog quote, right? I don't know the actual quote, but he says that filmmakers are thieves. And I think that, you know, they take the most precious things from life, you know, they just find the right little, you know, meshes of sound and vision and puts them together in this big, like, you know, very valuable thing that is a film, you know, and thinking about being a filmmaker as somebody that's stealing the things that I want to show to everyone else, or stealing the precious things in life, and then celebrating those things. That's kind of what affirms life for me, really, is that celebration of those valuable things that are in my movies, you know, to me. And so my goal is to make them valuable to other people, really. Just kind of, yeah, I think that's my thing.
Cool. No, and thank you all for sharing your stories and your experiences, and hopefully, I mean, I think a lot of people who are just watching this as newbies or just seasoned filmmakers appreciate what you all are doing and the knowledge and wisdom you're dispensing. So continue making art, or whatever it may be, continue making it. And yeah, thank you very much for being here. And I would like to thank just Barnthouse, and I have to look at my pages again. And Nuria Pellicer. Pellicer. I don't know why I did that. So I call it Nicolas.
Make it French.
Yeah,
right.
Nicolas Thilo-McGovern. And Jasper Hamilton. And I'm Phil Healy. And yeah, thank you, Arlington Community Media, Inc. And take it easy.